So what's up, guys? We're here again for the review of Ant-Man, but now we're going to do spoilers. For those of you who have actually seen Ant-Man, here's your chance for us to communicate and talk about the film as a whole, instead of just giving you vague stuff.
Spoilers galore. So you've been warned. If you have not seen the movie yet,
Click the link below and go watch just the regular review.
yes,
So,
go watch our regular review where it's non-spoilers and go see the damn movie and then come back and watch this. And
I don't
watch
want
this.
angry comments saying, "Oh, y'all spoiled the movie." We
Yeah.
warned you.
We warned you. Spoil it. We've been warning you for like the last minute, so you have no excuse. So again, just reiterate: warning, spoilers. There you go. Watch the movie. Come back. Watch this. Awesome. Let's get into it.
Yes, let's get into it. All right. So, first off, Agent Carter and Howard Stark's father from Iron Man 2 is in this film.
Opening scene.
Opening scene, right out of the gate. You
Yep.
get familiar faces. I mean, this is pretty much, and we also see a younger Michael Douglas, which I'm pretty sure
Which they
CGI.
nailed.
Oh yeah.
They made it so believable when he walked in there. You couldn't even really see the CGI. Like you couldn't really tell at all. Like it's not like with like The Hobbit where they try to make Legolas look younger. God, that was a fail. They made him look. You could totally tell his face was CGI. No, this one they nailed it perfect. Whoever is in charge of making him look younger, they did so good. I also think there was some makeup done. They had
Probably.
that done.
Most likely.
So they really made it look like it was a real younger Michael Douglas from like 20 years ago.
And this is also set in the 80s, so when we see Agent Carter, of course she's going to be older.
Yes.
They actually did a really good job of making her look older as well.
Yeah.
Same with Howard Stark.
Yeah, and Michael Douglas comes in. He's furious, and he's man. He played a believable, outraged Hank Pym.
Mm.
Comes in, basically just owns the scene. Just basically tells them, "You're not gonna tell me what the fuck to do. I'm gonna do my thing." Screw
Yeah, basically
you."
Howard Stark is trying to get Hank Pym's Pym particles that he's created, and they're wanting to weaponize it.
Yeah.
And Hank obviously does not want that.
Nope.
So that kind of shows the rift between Hank and Howard Stark, which probably ends up. It was probably going to end up in Civil War, which is probably why Ant-Man will take sides with Captain America.
Yeah, that's what this whole movie is about. Basically, because later on, turns out Hank, as he started his company, chose a protege, but then he suddenly leaves that protege hanging. He won't ever tell him about the Pym particle, and he just leaves. And this protege of his cracks it and starts to weaponize makes his own suit and starts to weaponize it himself. And that's what the whole movie is about. Hank has created this miracle that can shrink a soldier to the size of an insect, an ant, hence Ant-Man, and it's really effective. There's even a scene where they talk about how Russia fired off a nuclear missile for the U.S. and Hank Pym as Ant-Man and his wife as Wasp stopped it. So that's how amazing the technology can be. But Hank knows in the wrong hands, it can enslave mankind. It can just take over. Whoever has control of it can take over the entire world. It can, so yes, it can benefit us, but in the wrong hands, it can destroy us.
Yeah, which, like you said about Wasp, we actually do get a scene, a flashback of the original Ant-Man, Hank Pym, and his wife, Janet Van Dyke, as Wasp. So we actually get to see Wasp in this film for a little bit. But then, why she's not in the film the rest of the time is because she shrinks herself even more. She goes subatomic, right? That's the word.
Yeah, she went subatomic so she could, because they could not get inside the nuclear missile because it was made of titanium alloy, and they couldn't, for life of them, penetrate the metal and get inside. So she had to shrink so small to where she could go in between the particles of the metal and get inside that way, and disable it. And she does. But when you go subatomic, you can't go back. To do that, you have to turn off your, what was it called?
I think it was a respirator. I'm not
They
sure.
called it something else. There's something on their belt. I forgot what it was called. It's their. I have no excuse. I've seen it 3 times. It's called their accelerator or something. It basically controls how far they shrink, and when you turn it off and you press your shrink button, you're gonna go as small as you can possibly get, which is subatomic. And
You're basically stuck there.
You're basically stuck there because your accelerator got turned off, and you can't re-shrink back.
Yeah, I think the funniest part of this whole movie, in my opinion, was the whole Baskin Robbins scene.
Oh yes.
Apparently, after Scott gets out of jail, he goes back, or I don't know if he goes back, but I'm pretty sure he gets a job at Baskin Robbins.
Yeah, it makes a joke before that saying, the guy saying, you know, he meets up with his buddy, picked up from prison. He's like, hey man, I know this, I know some guys who know some jobs. He goes, no, I'm not gonna do that. I just got out of jail. I got a daughter I want to look after. I want to be there for her. I want to support her. I want to be there to raise her still. I want to be a part of her life. So he wants to get a good, honest job. Guy's like, well, you're an ex-con, so it's not gonna be easy. He goes, I got a master's in so and so and so and so. I'm gonna be fine. And the next thing you know is we're gonna have Baskin Robbins. He goes, hi, welcome to Baskin Robbins. You're just like, oh well, shit.
Funny thing about it is that there's a guy who's ordering, and I don't know if he's just stupid, but he wants something hot and fresh. And of course, if you know Baskin Robbins, which I'm sure everybody does, all they sell is ice cream.
It's just ice cream, straight up. Slushies, stuff like that.
I mean, this guy's asking for a hamburger, this guy's asking for a pretzel, something hot and fresh, and he's just not getting it. I mean, Paul Rudd's even trying to tell him,
Dude, it's Baskin Robbins. Ice cream, that's it. Whatever's hot and fresh. He's like, dude.
After that, of course, he goes into his boss's office, and then, of course, his boss finds out that he's lying about his name because he took a different name, and that he's pretty much been convicted and has been sent to prison. And the funniest line is that, you know, Scott asks, well, how did you find out? And he goes, we're Baskin Robbins. Baskin Robbins always finds out. Or something along those lines.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's just-
Baskin Robbins always finds out. Yeah, it's that entire thing. And it's funny when he goes back home to his apartment, his buddy's like, hey man, I thought you were at work. He goes, I got fired. They find you out, Baskin Robbins always finds out, bro. And then one of the random guys says Baskin Robbins don't play. It's like, what's this big thing on Baskin Robbins? Like, the hell? Like, Baskin Robbins, like, it's like no shit, apparently.
If Baskin Robbins doesn't get, you know, any more business because of this movie, why?
Yeah, why?
Why not?
Yeah, the entire opening, the introduction to the suit and what it can do. It was really good. It was very funny, and I like the end where he falls on the car, and it sounds like a little like a piece of hell hit the car. The guy's like, huh, and then he grows big, and then you hear the car just in his weight applies the car's roof. He goes, and it makes a lot of noise. The guy's like, what the hell? And then the guy's like, hang on to the suit. He goes, no, you're gonna have it back. And he returns the suit, jumps back over the fence, and the cops find him. He's like, no, I didn't steal this thing. Steal anything. I was returning something I stole. Oh, shit. He's like, fuck.
So eventually, you know, Hank bails him out of jail and tells him, look, you have a second chance. I'll help you if you become the new Ant-Man. And, you know, they take him back to his house. He realizes it's the same house that he, you know, found the suit in, tried to rob. So they pretty much just help him get used to the suit and the suit's power and teach him how to fight. Just pretty much train him.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, his ultimate test was to try to find this piece of equipment to steal from Stark.
Sort of old technology that does something. I don't remember what.
From an old Stark warehouse.
That's set up in upstate New York.
Yeah. Upstate New York.
Ring a bell, anybody who saw Avengers Age of Ultron?
That's where it connects again.
Yes. This is where the movie connects to the Avengers and to the other Marvel superheroes. Because, as it turns out, as soon as Ant-Man is flying on his thoraxes, or whatever they're called, Antony, as he calls them, and he's flying above, he's like, Hank, you told me this was an old storage facility? Well, it's not! And then it shows the big A, it's the Avengers training facility. He's like, you son of a bitch! And then sure enough, lo and behold, who shows up? Is it Captain America? Is it Hulk? Is it Thor? Is it Iron Man? No, it's Falcon. But still, it's Falcon. Falcon flies in.
Falcon flies in because apparently, I'm pretty sure they caught it on the radar somewhere.
Yeah,
With the
he says
technology
he
that they
caught
have.
a trip in what did he say? He said in surveillance, like he like the motion monitors tripped or something like.
Yeah.
Anyways, and he's like, but then look, there's anybody here, and then he's like, oh wait, no, he doesn't see me. He goes, wait, I got something. I can see you. Ah shit. He grows up, then he grows big. He's like, hey. He clicks. Scott goes, hi, I'm Scott. And he tries to apprehend him. He grows small. But then they start fighting. And
Which is a great fight scene to me.
It is. It's a really good fight scene. It really shows how far Scott came in his training, and he really does take on Falcon really well. And it's a pretty even fight for the most part. Mm-hmm. And this movie was so much more aware of the universe around it. I loved it. They made mention of the Avengers. Like at one point, Paul Rudd's like, I think we should call the Avengers, and Michael Douglas is like, no.
They're too busy blowing cities out of the sky.
Yeah, they're dropping cities out of the sky. I spent years keeping this out of the hand of the Stark. This isn't some cute technology like the Iron Man suit. I loved that, by the way. He basically said the Iron Man suit technology invention is cute. He's basically saying Hank Pym believes his invention is much better than Tony Stark's invention, which I really hope that Michael Douglas stays on as Hank Pym and is in future movies like Civil War and
Infinity Wars.
The Infinity War movies. I would love to see him and Tony Stark just get into it, like a verbal debate on like their suits and whatever, and how much. I would just love to see that.
Oh yeah. There's a very particular thing at the very end of the movie, or close to the end of the movie, where it goes into one of those montages where his friend is talking about, I heard from this guy that told this guy, so and so forth. Falcon shows up again, and he's talking to this woman about, I'm trying to find a guy that shrinks. I got a guy who can. This is the thing, is that he mentions, there's a little mention of Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, we got a guy who runs, we got a guy who jumps, we got a guy who crawls. He crawls on walls or something. They said something like that. It's basically like a mention of Spider-Man. And then he's like, I'm looking for a guy who shrinks.
Yeah.
And what was the whole message in the end?
Just that, that the Falcon guy's looking for you.
Basically, the Avengers are interested in Ant-Man. That's the basic message. Do you want to talk about the end credit scene?
Oh, well, there's two. For those of you that saw Age of Ultron, there's only one. This one goes back to having two. One's the mid-credit scene, and then the other one is post-end credit. So, mid-credit scene is just basically, it kind of gives some light, or sheds some light on Hank and his daughter's relationship. And it kind of shows that, throughout the movie, Hope is very jealous that Scott is going to be the one to do this, gets to put on the suit, because she really wanted to do it herself. But at this mid-credit scene, he shows her something he's been working on for her, and it's a new Wasp suit. So we can only concur that she's going to be the new Wasp in later movies.
It was originally supposed to be her mother's new suit, but since her mother is gone, he was waiting for the time to be right, and then he was going to give it to her.
Yeah.
Because I don't think she was in a very... I think he knew she wasn't in a very good place to do that mission. Like, she just wouldn't have been, like, right for the job, or maybe... And he probably just had a bad feeling about the whole thing, so he didn't want her to do it. But I think now he's trusting her to be the next Wasp.
So that's the mid-credit scene, and then it goes to the post-end credit scene.
Yep.
Which is the bridge into Cap 3.
Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, what you see is the Winter Soldier, Bucky, strapped in, like you said, it was a vice.
It looks like a vice. His metal arm is caught in a vice of some kind.
That's right. And it shows. You hear Falcon say Cap, and then it shows Captain America looking at him, and Falcon approaches Cap and says, "This would be a lot easier a week ago," or something, which is, we have no idea what that could mean. And then Cap's like, "Well, we could call Tony," and then he's like, "No, it's not going to work." Well, then we're on our own. He's like, "Nah, I know a guy."
Anyway, I guess I mean that's good enough for a spoiler review on Ant-Man. So until next time, I'm Cristobal.
I'm Brooks.
I'm gonna try to do this scheduling thing. I'm gonna try to do it. We're gonna try to do a video We're gonna make it come out every Sunday. So keep a lookout for that. We're gonna try to stick with the schedule. If not, then I'll let y'all know. But it may be every other Sunday. But we'll see how it goes. So until then, please like and subscribe if you like this. If you haven't subscribed already, and we'll see you next time.